The top 10 most corrupt countries in Africa according to a new study. A new report has been released by Transparency International, revealing the top 10 most corrupt countries in Africa according to their 2016 Global Corruption Barometer study. The study, which was carried out in more than 100 countries and territories, collected data on experiences of corruption from more than 110,000 households and 3,000 businesses around the world. While the list contains only African countries, it's interesting to note that some of these nations are also well known for their involvement in international affairs, especially political and military scandals involving foreign powers. 1. Angola. The World Bank's Doing Business report indicates that Angola, which has one of Africa's largest economies, is also one of its most corrupt. Businesses have been negatively affected by widespread graft and bribery practices. In 2017, Angola placed 165th out of 190 countries on Transparency International's Corruption Perceptions Index. Despite abundant natural resources, including oil and diamonds, corruption seems to run rampant throughout much of Angola's government. That same year, 40% of Angolans lived below the poverty line, making it one of Africa's poorest nations despite being rich in natural resources. However, even though corruption is common throughout much of Angola's government and business sector, there are signs that anti-corruption efforts are slowly starting to pay off. 2. Equatorial Guinea is one of 5 countries on Transparency International's latest annual ranking of perceived levels of public sector corruption. In Equatorial Guinea, officials and politicians allegedly siphon off as much as $30 billion into foreign bank accounts each year. The country ranks 157th out of 176 on Transparency International's Corruption Perceptions Index, which measures perceived levels of public sector corruption worldwide. It is also considered one of the worst human rights violators in Africa. A similar list was released by another NGO last year. According to Global Financial Integrity, GFI, African leaders stole at least $148 billion from their people between 2001 and 2010, with nearly half that amount, $73 billion, removed from just 2 nations, Nigeria and Angola. 3. Republic of Congo. The Republic of Congo is an African nation sitting along the Atlantic Ocean. With a population of 4,085,334 and a land area of 342,000 square kilometers, it's bound to have some corruption problems. And indeed, its government was ranked as one of the least transparent by Transparency International. Of course, that doesn't mean you shouldn't visit, just make sure you keep your wits about you if you do. Otherwise, what could be a beautiful vacation could turn into something much more sinister. What should I see when I go? That depends on what you like. This country has it all. 4. Somalia. Somalia tops Transparency International's list of most corrupt countries in Africa, having scored a dismal 1.1 on its Corruption Perceptions Index, which ranked 168 countries globally. Transparent International estimates that Somalians paid almost $8 million to bribe public officials between 2005 and 2011 alone. While Somalia doesn't have an effective government, Al-Shabaab, an Islamist group, has managed to fill some of the state's power vacuum. 5. Sudan. Sudan is still one of the poorest and least developed nations on earth despite vast oil resources that are used for lining pockets of politicians, all while Sudanese people continue to struggle. In fact, only one region in Sudan has seen more than a 30% increase in life expectancy since independence was declared. The rest of Sudan's provinces have not even reached half that benchmark. South Sudan is better off but can't be compared to any European country or even many African nations. 6. Chad. The Central African nation of Chad is best known for suffering through one of world history's worst genocides, which resulted in up to 500,000 deaths. Even decades later, it remains one of Africa's poorest and least developed nations. Despite all that, it came out as number 5 on Transparency International's list of most corrupt countries in Africa. 7. Cameroon. Cameroon has been on and off lists of worst performing states, but there's no denying that corruption is an entrenched problem in many parts of its government. The country consistently ranks as one of the world's most corrupt, coming near last at number 150 out of 175 in Transparency International's Corruption Perceptions Index. In fact, it was only 5 years ago that Cameroon was ranked as one of Africa's cleanest governments. Today, it finds itself among some of its biggest rivals, countries like Angola and Zimbabwe, in terms of corruption. And although recent crackdowns have led to some high-profile arrests, analysts say more needs to be done before Cameroon can truly shake its reputation for being among Africa's most corrupt nations. 8. Central African Republic. 3/10 This country ranks third worst in terms of corruption, with a score of 3.3 on Transparency International's scale. The report found that while there is a high level of political instability, much of it is due to political and ethnic divides, but it still managed to drag down its score even further by having an underdeveloped civil society and rampant instances of bribery and abuse. However, with more transparency and accountability, these problems can be fixed. 9. Libya. The African country, which is still grappling with political instability and economic unrest as it continues to emerge from civil war, is ranked as Africa's most corrupt country by Transparency International. With corruption rife at all levels of Libyan society and public services in a very poor state, it is no surprise that many ordinary citizens feel disillusioned about their government. Corruption was one of the main grievances aired during protests that eventually led to an end of Muammar Gaddafi's 40-year dictatorship. 10. Democratic Republic of the Congo. The Democratic Republic of Congo comes out as having got more bribes than any other country, with an average of 5 bribes per person. In DRC's case, government corruption is endemic and large sums of money are required for basic services such as healthcare or education. This means that individuals have few other choice but to pay up if they want to see these vital services. What do you think about our video? Let us know in the comments section, down below. Please don't forget to like, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video.